Hi, Danielle here. Sorry I can't be in class today. Thanks for watching this video. Here's my presentation of Chapter 14, African American Children, The Hope of the Race by Marcia Y. Riggs. The 1800s were a time of change and social, political, and economic ramifications for the African American community. Emancipation, Reconstruction, and urbanization in a society that was undecided about its obligations to African Americans dictated much of African American culture at the time. As the white community enforced overt and covert means of social control, the black community responded point for point, working from a huge deficit as approximately 40 million slaves were poured into a society for which they had not been prepared. Many began to develop programs and institutions founded on promoting self-respect, moral development, education, and racial solidarity. Among the greatest and most influential groups was the Black Women's Club movement. The Black Women's Club movement was autonomous, as in not under the umbrella of a male-run or political or other churchly organization, yet the members stemmed from success and practice and permission that was gained from working in churches. In 1896, the movement formalized and became the National Association of Colored Women, NACW. While non-sectarian, the NACW and the United Black Women's Club, before it clearly moved out of the church and into larger communities, was moved with the gospel in mind. The objects these groups, here quoted from the NACW Constitution, was to, by the help of God, secure harmony of action and cooperation among all women in raising to the highest plane moral, home, and civic life. As of 1885, 5 areas were established as the basis of the Women's Club movement roles on behalf of children. 1, the need for education opportunities, vocational training, and employment. 2, the importance of physical development. 3, the importance of moral education. 4, establishment of a secure home life. And 5, nurturance of overall capabilities to enable children to thrive in a social context that would place constraints on their lives because of their life. By 1900, there were approximately 300 women's clubs organizations, and in 1930, the president of the NACW issued a statement taking the early home life of African American children strongly to task and described the home circle as the sole source of deficiencies in children. The attention drawn to this weak foundation inspired the NACW to narrow the functions of the organization to just 2 departments, 1 of mother, home, and child, and 2 of Negro women in industry. The most significant response to the new mission, that polarized mission, relative to African American children was the establishment of kindergartens. The chair of the executive board of the Southern Federation of Clubs described the value of the kindergarten in a 1905 article as the most beautiful education extant for the training of those tender little human plants we call children in all their relations to nature, man, and God. That same article closes with the following. The kindergarten is particularly fitted to the needs of the Negro child. 1, because home life for the masses is in but its formative period. 2, when the parent is laboring, the tot is left to grow and develop alone and for the most part under vitiating influences. Because the kindergarten takes away the need for reformatories and prisons. 4, because the sweet faith truthfulness of childhood is protected and strengthened, and the mental, physical, and spiritual forces are given the right trend. And 5, because in benefiting the child, the parent is also benefited. Mary Church Terrell, big focus of this article, was born to a father speculated to be the first black millionaire in the South and a mother who owned a fashionable hair salon. Both of her parents, however, had been slaves until emancipation, and in fact, Mary was born the year of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. She was well-educated and well-traveled, studied all over Europe, and even has an undergraduate degree and a master's degree from Oberlin College, all by 1890. During Mary's study at Oberlin, the college's theological stance moved from evangelicalism to progressivism, and students at Oberlin experienced a social awakening. The social gospel, as presented by Reverend Washington Gladden, heavily involved with life at Oberlin, and also known as the father of the social gospel, took center stage in this reform. The social gospel refers to a historical and theological movement that began in response to problems arising from industrialization and urbanization and created a bridge between the very real consequences of those, like poverty, slums, exploitative employment, and then the truth and hope of the Protestant tradition. The social reinterpretation of Christianity sought to bring together theology and sociology. You guys probably all know that, seminary and stuff. Mary is considered here a practical theologian active in the social gospel, which interpreted the work of reform organizations such as the Black Women's Club movement as the church outside of the churches. Her life's work strived to answer 3 practical questions. 1, how to address the pain that colored mothers felt for their children, as in when they had to watch their children go through the same racial prejudices they grew up with. 2, how to inculcate adequate values and knowledge in children. And 3, how to create social context in which children could flourish. Mary Church Terrell's understanding of work on the behalf of children. In searching for answers to Mary's big questions, she became an active lecturer, speaker, and organizer. She spoke regularly and firmly about the kindergarten as a proper and needed environment, not only one that could cultivate and train children, but one that had the capacity to save them. Mary Terrell believed that children were in need of proper environments and care in order to develop fully, and as many homes and African American families lacked the support to do so, the kindergarten could take its place. Though children were understood to be innocent victims to bad family situations, it was also understood that a good environment could even prevail over undesirable heredity. Terrell also presented the understanding that punishment would be inflicted on those who hated God, not those lacking in any other resource. Terrell feared that the Old Testament idea of low heredity would affect this so recently enslaved race, and felt it really important to administer the message that judgment would come from God to her community, to explain that slavery and other cultural injustice existed in the world of man, but that God shouldn't be blamed for it, and that black people should work not for favors on behalf of color, but for an equal chance. Terrell speaks to whites as well, asking families to raise their children with principles of humanity, charity, and justice, so that all born free on this American soil might have the opportunity to prosper. Parenting and assisting parents to become more involved and express higher moral framework within the home were also of her focus. And in brief, this is quote, in brief, work on behalf of children was work on behalf of the kingdom of God. Another quote, just as the Women's Club reformers of the late 19th century analyzed and sought to address the collective needs of a people who had been emancipated from slavery for just 30 or 40 years, so African Americans today must make contextually defined efforts on behalf of children. The roles of public policy, the media, the church, consumerism, and compassion are all called into question when considering the betterment of African American children's situations. Terrell and the Black Women's Club movement seem to agree that by considering a view of God and sin that removes hereditary responsibility but preaches a law of love, personal and communal accountability will work to social salvation. I think that's a really good sentence, so I'm going to say it again just for fun. Terrell and the Black Women's Club movement seem to agree that by considering a view of God and sin that removes hereditary responsibility and preaches a law of love, personal and communal accountability will work towards social salvation. Educating children from a very young age in moral values, decision-making, observation, and justice in the kindergartens, while assisting parents with the role of parenting, will make the family stronger and the community at large. Most importantly, however, maintaining hope for the race by allowing children to be the manifestation of that hope for the future, as well as the responsibility of the present, will address the moral, spiritual, and social needs of African American children at large. So that's my review of the chapter. And a couple questions or things you might want to roll around in discussion would be, how do you feel about how sort of taken to task the African American family was in the early 1900s, and the point-for-point relevance to that today? Have we done any better? Has kindergarten made a difference? Where does families stand now? And then also, with even a president like Obama and his role as a community organizer, how has community organizing and non-church or government groups such as the Black Women's Club movement made an impact in life today? So are groups still making the impact with cultural relevance that they were in the early 1900s? Have we done better or worse? And what do you think? So thanks so much and have a great day. Bye. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't know how to turn it off yet.